also there. So what I'm going to do, and I have no clue how long I'll talk, so I may go into a little bit of Brenda's time or Millie's time, but I'm sure they'll forgive me for this. Want to talk about some good things, some not so good things, and maybe bring it back to some possibly good things here. So if you will, just indulge me here for a few minutes. First of all, let me say this, and it's where I kind of want to focus some attention on this morning. And let me tell you a little background here. I've been here for 5 years now, and we've seen some people basically just, come and go. Over those 5 years, we've had several people leave us. Some people leave us at the end of the year, some people leave us in the middle of the year. We've had that happen. We've had all sorts of things. And inevitably, those people get a lot of attention. People leave and different things. Some attention gets focused on them, right or wrong, or whatever it may be. People just ask questions, and the attention kind of goes there. And then, inevitably, after we pass that stage, it goes to who's coming in, who are the new people, and or if you haven't hired somebody, who we're going to get, and those people get a lot of attention, and it's a good thing because we have choices in life, and those people have made the choice to come work for Abbott. It's appropriate. They need that attention, and we welcome it. We appreciate it. Okay. But the people that rarely get any attention are the 90% of you in here that make the choice to stay at Abbott year after year. And those are the people that I really want to talk to today with everything, and just tell you how much we appreciate you. We know you have choices. We know you do. And you chose to continue to work at Abbott. Not getting a fanfare. Nobody's probably patting you on the back and saying thank you or anything like that. But I do want to say thank you. I do want to say thank you very much for making the choice to come back here and be a part of us and be a part of what we built at Abbott. Like I said, normally don't get any attention at all. And that's a shame in my eyes because you deserve the attention for the decisions and the choices that you make of simply coming back to Abbott every single year. Okay, so just from the bottom of my heart, just speaking sincerely, and I know speak for Mr. Pete and everybody, we appreciate you. We really, really do. And we appreciate the fact that you coming and staying here at Abbott. And with that, we have a little news for you also that it's not much, but I think every little thing can help. We are going to be able to provide a bonus for you in November again. And so for those people that were not, and for those people who were not here before, what it is on your November paycheck. You were working for us. Every single employee will get a $750 check or $750 bonus for working here. So
tuition.
thank you, Brenda. Brenda does an amazing job with the budget. We publicly thank her for everything that she does with that and able to fit this in. We had a pretty good year last year. We were worried. We were quite worried where it was going and the trends we were headed at and everything else, but attendance proved to be pretty good there at the end. And so we're going to be able to offer this to you there. And again, it's not much, but it's just a little something that we can do right now. And again, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what next year holds. But for this year, it's our way saying thank you. We appreciate you for that. And also want to touch just on a couple of more things with that. And as I grow older, I'll say get wiser, but I learn a little bit more. And different things become a little bit more important than what they used to be. And I know, I said this last year, I'll repeat it again. I know every single person in here can make more money somewhere else. I know that. We all know that, okay? So I think that's why it makes it extra special that you're here at Abbott, all right? And, you know, one of the things that really hit me the past few years is just what I call the purpose in life, and your purpose in life. And Terry, Coach Crawford, told me about a book, and I'll say this, and he might have said it to you, I might have said it to you before, but I'll say it again in front of everybody. One of the best books I've ever read was back in January. It's called Lead for God's Sake, and just amazing. And won't give away the ending or whatever, but let's just say that one of the characters, one of the central characters, focused on the janitor. And you know, let's just face it, we usually don't think of that as a position we look up to. But this gentleman, that was his purpose, and that's what he wanted to do. And he was happier than anybody else because he had found his purpose. And other people were jealous of that. And you do, you get jealous of people when other people know their purpose and are happy with what they're doing. Just kind of another example of that, I was reading a book here within the past couple of weeks by Bill Walton. Bill Walton was a basketball player, one of the 50 greatest basketball players, played at UCLA, John Wooden. And he was telling a story about his first coach. His parents did not like sports. They were into music, and which is crazy in today's society, that you have an NBA player whose parents did not like sports. But that was the case. And so he really connected with a community center coach. It was his first coach. It was somebody who taught him the game of basketball. And his name was Rocky. And said Rocky had another job, but Rocky volunteered at the community center and helped kids learn the game of basketball. And there's a specific quote in there from Bill Walton about Rocky as his first coach. He said, Rocky never took a dime for what he did at the community center, yet he was the richest person I ever knew. And I think that really, really hit home and meant a lot, and especially sports fans. For him to say that about his first coach, he was coached by John Wooden, one of the greatest coaches, but yet he still felt so highly about this guy that knew his purpose in life with it. I think is really, really telling. So, you know, in Abbott, we may not can make you financially rich, but I think it is a great place to make you life rich, and a great place to know your purpose and do some things, which many of you already have, and you've done that. And it's a great, great thing, and I think that's what makes this so special for us here. But just kind of want to touch on that and before you're there. So now, let's talk about some not so good things. Okay, I say it every year, and I apologize for people that have heard this speech before, but I've got to say it. I'm trying to change my examples up, but they're probably going to be the same. Okay, and I'm just going to say Facebook. All right, so Facebook is social media, whether that's Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it may be. You hear me say Facebook, I'm talking about social media there. All right. So just some warnings, as I say every year. Be careful of what you post on Facebook. Okay? Let me say this again. Be careful, please be careful what you post on Facebook. You, whether you know it or not, are public figures. People look to you. They look to you as associated with Abbott ISD. It's not always fair, I know. It's tough to have personal life that comes to that sometimes with that, but that's just the facts of the matter. And I want to hit on two things in particular. First thing is the relationships that you have on Facebook. All right, I cannot control, nor am I gonna. It's illegal to control who you friend or befriend on Facebook. Okay, I'm not even gonna go there, but let me make a suggestion, as I have before. I do not think it is wise to be friends with anybody under the age of 18. I just don't think it is. I'm sorry. You may disagree, that's fine. I'll give you an example where that may be appropriate. Somebody disagree with me here, but it just, I've seen some of the things that can happen when people do that, okay? I'll just put it out there. I've seen somebody in handcuffs because of a relationship with a student on Facebook. All right? I've seen somebody lose their certification because of a relationship on Facebook. Open up the newspaper, the internet. It happens all the time now, okay? So I just don't go there, all right? The idea of befriending somebody and possibly having my certification taken away and handcuffs, that I didn't do that. Or the fact of just being friends with other people is, to me, more appropriate. Now, told you I'd give you an example. It's been over 5 years ago. This is how long this has lasted. When I was still in Waco. Somebody in one of the high schools in Waco, they, again, inappropriate relationship between teacher and a student. She was a student, and lo and behold, a private message one night, whatever. And so we were talking about that at my elementary school, and I just said, I just do not see why people are friends with people under the age of 18. One of my instruction specialists said, well, my son's a teenager, and I like to be friends with his friends. That way I can see what they're doing. That's probably appropriate. Okay, I can see that. I don't have a teenage son, but I may can see myself doing that very same thing. Okay, so there are times when it may be, and you may have your reasons for doing it. Okay, but if you're doing that to be cool, I don't know. If you're doing that to live a life or to see, other people trying to live a life through a high school student, those things don't end well. And trust me, they just don't end well. So please be careful of the people you friend on Facebook when it comes to that. And again, I hate to say that, and I'll say it next year too, okay? Probably the same exact thing. And hopefully I wouldn't have to deal with this since this year. But I think it just goes without warning because you see it so much. I honestly, I've stopped clicking on the stories. I mean, it's just the same thing over and over. You see it all the time with it. And so just don't want it to happen to any of us or anything else, okay? And then as far as posting on the internet, okay? Remember, okay, as educators, there are going to be people that like you, people that don't like you. That's just, okay? So, my example is always this. I don't know who I'll pick. Miss Tufts, Miss Tufts. Pick on you. I don't even know if you're on Facebook. Say Miss Tufts 2 weeks before summer. Just posts. Can't wait till summer vacation. It's 2 weeks away. Okay. To the person that she's helped in class, and that parent may look at that, man. Miss Tufts had a great year. She taught my kid to read, and I know she's going on vacation with family. That's a good thing, okay? There's another student in there that says, well, she's checking out. I know she's actually checked out since March. My son didn't learn to read in there, and it's all her fault because all she cares about is summer vacation, okay? Same innocent post, two completely different reactions that can happen there, okay? It happens. It's not fair. I'll be honest with you, it's not fair at all. But that's just the way it happens. And unfortunately, me, Eric, have to deal with that parent that comes up here. And look what she posted on this. So just, be careful. I mean, same thing. I mean, Kyle can post something about a baseball team, Highland Park baseball team, that they're doing this in practice. And, you can have one parent that says, look, Kyle's getting better. He's learning different things from different people. You can have another person that says, look, Kyle doesn't want to be here. He wants to be at a bigger school. Well, they have this equipment. Again, same post, different meanings to different people with that. And again, just be alert, be fair, or don't be fair, excuse me, it's not fair on that, but it's just life with it on that. And the other thing, and I always say too, is that students have a lot of protections when it comes to social media. It is their First Amendment rights to post things on social media. I don't go around telling them that. I don't want you to tell them that, okay? But the facts of the matter is, it is. And so, you know, little Johnny comes and posts this about teacher blankety blank, you know. Many times there's not much we're gonna be able to do, okay? It just, sorry, it's just, that's their First Amendment right, whether they say it in the restaurant or nobody hears it, or they post it to where everybody can see it. That's what they, you know, can do. It happens. It happened to me earlier this year, where somebody I graduated University High School, and I taught there also. And so somebody had one of these Facebook things going of remember when at University High School. And I saw it because I'm linked to university. You know, as I said, I graduated from there, and it's like, okay, this is gonna turn bad. So I didn't look at it anymore. Had somebody else come, did you see they were really talking about you? How bad a teacher you were? It's like, I hadn't taught in 10 years. Yeah, people, just remember that. And you know, it just, it's easy to let go because I'm not there, not around them. But you know, it happens. As public figures, people are going to remember you and everything else, and it's going to happen. You know, if I close school or leave school open because of bad weather day, I'm going to get talked about on Facebook. It's a win situation here. It's just going to be what it is. Okay. Don't address those too many. And I know some people that will address them, and it just gets pretty ugly very quickly. And so, people who know me, I don't put a lot in Facebook, okay, or these other things. I do have them, but I just, not a lot of stuff, not a lot of stock, not a lot of thought that I put into those. But it is there, it is out there. We all must be aware. And as we often talk about too, you know, and I wish there was more curriculum and maybe look into it a little bit more, just about proper ways to teach students how to use them, okay? Because they've got a profile on themselves when they interview for jobs or anything else, okay? I mean, just be real honest with you, the new people and everything else, we've looked at your Facebook page, see what's on there. We did interview some people because of the Facebook page. I mean, it's just where we're at in 2016. And so students need to be aware of that. They need to know that, you know, while it may be cool at 19 to underage drink, which is not, but some people think it is, you know, we can flash that here and, you know, you go looking for a job. You know, if they do this illegal, well, they're going to do my job illegal. You know, stuff like that. So, anytime we can find the time to educate students on that, I think that's always a good thing. So, any questions on that? Questions? All right, last thing here, and just kind of wandering around here, but this is something I always kind of wanted to tell you and never had a chance to tell you or to go into. And you're probably thinking there's going to be something at the end. There's not really anything at the end. I just think this is an interesting case study here. And it's the story of Blockbuster Video. How many people here remember Blockbuster Video? I remember a good portion of you. Good. Not too old just yet. So just a little history here. Basically late 70s, early 80s, VCR was invented, and people started renting or started being able to watch movies. And so the idea came, well, instead of having to buy every movie, I can rent a movie. And so a lot of local, what I call mom and pop shops, popped up around. And, you know, depending on what town you were from or whatever, you probably know maybe your first local mom and pop video store. Mine was Flicks in South Lake. It was right down the street. We could go get it and go back, everything else. Inevitably, what happens, corporations come in, they take over, they run these small mom and pop shops out. And that's exactly what Blockbuster did. After a few years, Flicks closed and everybody goes to Blockbuster, which is a good thing. Instead of going into local Flicks, there are 2 Back to the Future copies are out. I can go to Blockbuster and 25 copies I can get Back to the Future and go home and watch it. It's 1985 for those wondering. So, Blockbuster has a cash cow going. Basically, it was said that at the time they could buy, because they were buying in such bulk, they could buy these movies at $5, $6 a pop. Okay, they rent them twice. Everything after that is just cash. And then they would sell it at the end when they were finished with it for $10 generally. It was just a money making business. At their highest, they were an $8 billion business. At their peak was 2004. They had over 60,000 employees, over 9,000 stores, just worldwide. Truly a $1 billion industry that didn't seem like it was going to stop. It was just a cash cow. So that was in 2004. In 2010, they declared for bankruptcy. So 6 years, this $1 billion company went bankrupt. What happened? You can obviously say Netflix and Redbox happened, okay? But you dig into it just a little bit further, and you can see that what happened was they failed to change. They failed to see the next big thing coming. They rested with what they knew. They thought people would always want to go into a store and rent a video. They never saw the technology side of things to where streaming videos would become more important or anything else like that. Now, if you remember how Netflix started with basically you would go online, rent a movie, they would send that to your house, and then you would send it back and get another movie. And if you want to know how Netflix started by a tech guy in California who went to go rent a movie at Blockbuster, but did not want to because he had a $40 late fee. And so he basically said, there's got to be a better way to do this. And so Netflix didn't start off with this big idea of streaming and everything else. He started off because the guy was mad he had late fees. And they had a new business model in which to rent movies from your home. Kind of the whole shop at home thing that the world was going to that Blockbuster did not see. This is why Netflix started. And then Netflix saw the next big thing of streaming and everything else and went to that. And it was just a failure for Blockbuster just to see what was happening. And even people's attitudes changing of how they lived and how they viewed things. I can remember going into Blockbuster. Some good memories going into Blockbuster. You'd spend 30 minutes looking for a movie. It was fun. I see people you knew, everything else. That's part of the date. Just go to Blockbuster, spend 30 minutes looking for a movie. Watch a movie. It was fun time. People don't do that anymore. People just don't do that. They shop from home. Everything is at home. I tell you how bad it's gotten. Redbox. Everybody knows what Redbox is. Okay. I drive up to a Redbox today. I see 2 or 3 people in line. I go to another Redbox. Where it used to be, I used to wait 30 minutes and enjoy spending this time looking for a movie. I'm got time to wait 2 minutes. And then I go behind somebody at Redbox and they're in line. I get mad. What do you mean? You don't know what movie you want? But that's our society. That's what we've turned into in just a short amount of time. And that's what Blockbuster failed to see there going forward, and it cost them. And, you think, well, what, and then this is Ricky Huston's theory here. What was supposed to happen, okay? Inevitably we would have gone to streaming, okay? But what probably should have happened was back when this started, back when Netflix started in 1997. So it was going while Blockbuster was still peaking. Somebody at Blockbuster should have said, whoa, this Netflix, they kind of got a good little model going, and they're diving into the streaming stuff. Maybe we better buy them out or something. And typically what happens is, okay, well, let's give them $4 billion. Let's give this tech guy in California $4 billion. What? $4 billion? Well, if we don't, we're going to be bankrupt in 6 years. And generally what happens is they buy them out, they take over the streaming. Guy in California, yeah, I'll take a $4 billion jet. Goes about the lives, and Blockbuster's still in business. Blockbuster's going strong. It's Blockbuster Netflix. It's generally the way a lot of things work in business and everything else, but nobody saw that at Blockbuster. They just thought everybody would still go into stores and pick up videos and leave. Now, at the end, Blockbuster tried to do some streaming, but it was way too late. Netflix was a machine by then and going strong. And another little side note about that too is, when you walked into Blockbuster, the store was yours. What happens when you go on Netflix? Since you watched this documentary, you may like this documentary. Since the last 3 out of 4 movies you watch were action, you probably will like this action. They created a profile on you, and you probably didn't even know it. So, again, people not seeing these things when other people are just passing them by. And that's helpful. I mean, that's how, I didn't know that documentary existed. I will watch that. Thank you, Netflix, for knowing what I like and don't like. I mean, there's things like that are happening that Netflix was smart enough to do and see the train coming, and Blockbuster was not. Okay? So, again, as I said, you probably think, well, I got some big idea I'm going to throw at you we need to know. That's not the case.
Invest in it.
It's just a simple fact of things change, people change, times change. Everywhere, every time. You think, well, it may not happen to me. It happened to an $8 billion industry that didn't see it's bankrupt in 6 years. Okay? So we've got some things here at Abbott that we can do, and we've tried to see the train coming. We've tried to predict for the future. We've tried to predict for things with the internet, with this technology and everything else, and just want you to see that's coming. That's what's coming, okay? So take advantage of those particular things. We're doing our best, again, to see that train coming, not to be extinct, to try and get the new things. It's a good thing. I don't know how much you talk to other schools or people in other schools, but we've got a pretty good thing going with our internet system and the stuff we have here. We're really, I think, where we're supposed to be with it. And we hear that from other schools when we tell them about our stuff. So it's a good thing. So take advantage of those things with it. Again, there's nothing specific to say, do this, don't do that. Just understand that change happens in this world. Change happens with us. And we have to adjust sometimes. We have to adjust to different ways. And sometimes that's good, sometimes not so good. Sometimes it's, I admit I don't like doing new stuff a particular way. I just been writing paper and pen. But, things do better in the way the people world and the things our students need for the future are things like that and where the world's coming. So, with that, and sorry to kind of let you down there, but I love that story. It's just a great case study. And just amazing for me just to see that. But anyways, if you're looking for an education story, sorry. Just a business story, but I think it relates somewhere in there. But anyways, what I want to do last, and this is just kind of personal. People know me, I'm a big sports fan. Somehow I ended up on a fan group for ESPN to where I do some things, and they ask me to do some things. But they asked me to be what's the word? A tester for these new virtual reality glasses. Okay, so they sent me these glasses, and I got to do some virtual reality with it, everything else. How many of you in here have done anything with virtual reality? Good. I want to show you some things, because while the glasses are awesome, sometimes they give me a headache, but there are some things you can even do without the glasses. And again, this was all new to me, and so I thought I was pretty technology savvy, and I did not even know this existed. Okay, so I just want to, again, share this with you just so you can see it exists. If you take your phone and go to the YouTube app, and if you don't have one, it's great. Just look on somebody. Okay. If you type in under the search button, and I didn't even think about everybody probably using their phones in one location at the same time. That'd be great. But if you type in 360 video, and then you type in roller coaster. So 360 video roller coaster. And click on that. Okay. Now watch one of those like a big screen. Either one. Anything, all three are pretty good. Three that pop up. Don't click on the little eyes with glasses. Okay, make it big and move your phone around. Oh gosh. Look at the people behind you. You can go on the roller coaster, you can look down, you can look up at the sky, and you can look. I like watching people's faces behind me.
What's happened?
You just move your phone around. And you can see a lot of different things. So again, if you haven't spin it behind you, spin it behind you. Your whole
The first one's the one just a few days ago, I got on that roller coaster at Six Flags. It is, wow, mind-blowing to me. It was. You put on those heavy glass goggle things, you know, and your body's going through a roller coaster, but your mind is shooting people or things, you know, aliens.
Now, there are different videos all around for sports fans. If you want to do a 360 video, J.J. Watt. There's a pretty interesting one on him for practice, where you can just see things and everything. So I just thought it was a pretty interesting thing idea. For me, thinking I did know a little bit about technology, and no clue to see it existed. Just do 360 video.
Turn it behind you, you can see the people behind you.
Oh, how funny is that? Oh, wow. That is pretty neat. I love all the players. Mine does. Mine goes.
All right, any questions?
At work.
All right. Before I turn it over to Brenda, I better clean this up here. So if everybody else, put your phones down for me, please. Something to look at. Go back. I think this would be awesome stuff on tablet, little kids and stuff. And again, there's roller coasters, kind of one of the funner things to do to see, but there's different things out there with that. There's a 360 classroom, you can see all around and everything else. And hopefully if ESPN listens to my input, they can start showing games like this where you can be seated like at the 50-yard line and If you want to watch, the people in row 2, you can watch people in row 2. If you want to watch the game, you can watch the game. Things like that. So, any questions? Questions? All right. Again, thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to a really, really good year here. It's a special place. I'm just glad to be a part of it too. And we appreciate you for being here also. So thank y'all very much.
I don't have anything cool like that. Oh, mine's just one.
Alright, everybody should have gotten a folder that has your name on it from the back. I think I went and looked at everybody's. And I'm not gonna go through the procedures and everything. The first thing you have is the school business, building security, maintenance. Just read over that, and I'm gonna kind of touch over the different forms that are in here. The first thing you have is the employee handbook receipt. Mr. P is going to go over that when he speaks, but just be sure that you sign this and turn it into Ms. Fuller. Where is that?
Third page.
Third page. I'm going to go over these in order, hopefully. The next thing you have is the acceptable use agreement. Once again, sign this. It's going to be online, and the employee handbook will also be online. Sign this and turn this into Ms. Fuller also. The next thing you have is the purchase order, a copy of the purchase order. These are outside my office in the little plastic slots, and you will fill this out for anything you need to order that goes to your budget. So any budget item, you fill this out here before you order. And after you fill this out, you will not bring it to me, you will bring it to Mr. P or to Dr. Edison. And then they will bring it to me to code. Okay. So don't bring these to me, bring these to Mr. P or to Dr. Edison, and they will get with me, and then we'll get it back to you. Okay. The next thing you have is called the payment authorization. You use this form for any student activity purchases or for a personal reimbursement. So if you had to go buy something on your own, you saw something at Target, great deal, you had to get it, fill this out and we will reimburse you. Remember, we cannot reimburse you for sales tax though. Okay. Any questions over these? If something happens though, and you are ordering something from your activity that has to have a purchase order number, then you can fill out the PO. But for most student activity purchases, you're gonna fill out the payment authorization. Does that make sense? Okay. The next thing is the credit card purchase request. If you have to use the credit card, you have to fill this out before the credit card will be checked out to you. Once again, fill this out, bring it to Mr. P or Dr. Edison, and then they will give it to me to code for coding, and we'll get it back to you. Ms. Kohler will not check this out, as most of you have found out, without Dr. Edison or Mr. P's signature and my coding. Okay?
It goes to them first, then do you?
Yes, to them. The next thing is the employee travel reimbursement. If you are traveling overnight, we fill this form out so we can get you your per diem. We do not pay for breakfast. We pay for $10 for lunch and $15 for supper. So you can get $25 a day, and that's what this reimbursement form is for. Or if something happened, the credit card got declined, and you need reimbursement for that, you would fill this out for your credit card too, or for that hotel. Okay. Next form is the deposit form. Any money you bring me needs to have this attached to it. Okay. Any and all money needs to have this attached. I don't need a piece of paper that tells me how much is there. I need this attached. Okay. And this is for my auditor's purposes. When they look at my deposits, they want to see this one attached because this is our procedures. The only exception is elementary supplies, and we have those forms for y'all.
Do I need to start doing that for the cafeteria?
No.
Okay.
Yours is the other exception.
Okay.
Okay, timesheet adjustment form. This only applies to a couple in here. If something happens, the time clock doesn't work, you forget to clock in or clock out, fill this form out so that I can adjust your time. The next form is the change of name, address, and phone number information. If you change address, if your cell phone number changes, whatever, your social security, if you get married, your name changes, I need this form. Your number doesn't change. If your name changes, I need this form. The next is the direct deposit authorization. If you are not direct deposit and want to be, fill this out. If you need to change your direct deposit, I don't really care if you fill this out, I just need your voided check attached to this form. You don't have to fill out all the information, just attach your voided check to this form. It helps me not lose your check. When you just give me a voided check, it's easy for me to lose it when it's in my payroll folder. But if it's stapled to this, it's harder for me to lose it. So this form doesn't have to necessarily be filled out. I just need your cancel check or voided check attached to it. The next form is the absent from duty request form. If you are going to be out, this form needs to be filled out and given to Mr. P or to Dr. Edison before. If you are out sick, the next day this needs to be filled out, okay? If we do not get it, Ms. Kohler may put this in your box for you to fill out. She may start it for you. So this needs to be filled out, okay? The next thing you have is the credit card policy. I'm not really going to go over it in detail. It's the same. Nothing has changed. There is the policy that you need to sign on the back, and I did do good this year and not make it front and back as part of the policy. So if you will fill that out and turn that in to Ms. Kohler also. If we do not have a signed copy on file, you will not be able to check out the credit card or use the credit card. One major thing with credit cards, remember, no sales tax. If sales tax is charged on the school credit card, it will be taken out of your paycheck. If you lose a receipt, it is taken out of your paycheck. If what's another one? A meal receipt. With the exception of hard and safe floors. Meal receipts. So many times you pay with a credit card, and when they bring you the credit card back, they only have like the credit card receipt that you signed. That will not do for my auditors. I have to have the detailed receipt for them. So be sure that you ask them for it if it's not already in there, or when you send the credit card, take it out before you send it back. Does that make sense? So if you're taking a group of students and you're using the credit card and you have, let's say, 5 students, I need to see that there's meals. Basically, I need to see that there's no alcohol in there, is what my auditors want to see, okay? Or that you're not buying meals for 3 of your friends, that it's for student purposes or school purposes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Also, my auditors are really getting strict on this. I need to know whose meals are being purchased. So if it's just you, then I just need your name on either the back of the credit card or on the credit card request form. If you're taking 20 kids, I need a list of those 20 kids. Everyone's meal that is purchased. I don't need to know what meal goes with what person. I just need to know who we're purchasing meals for. Okay? Any questions over that? All right. The next thing is healthcare. Randy, our benefits guy, will be here the Monday before school starts. That morning, we have an hour for everybody to go through and do their benefits. If you have no changes whatsoever to your benefits, shoot me an email and let me come sit down with you and we can go through it real quick, and you won't have to sit with Randy. So, and it won't take us 5 minutes to do that. So if you have 0 changes, if you're not going to change anything, let me know, shoot me an email, and I will set up a time and I can come within the next week or so and do this. We no longer, TRS has changed it, we no longer have till the 31st or to change your benefits. It has to be done by the 22nd. So that Monday when Randy comes is the last day we can do health insurance, any kind of benefits, okay?
Even if you might not do it till January?
That's different. That's if you have a change. You're gonna have a change in status then. But for your benefits to change this school year, starting September, it has to be done by that Monday when Randy comes. Okay? After that, no changes can be made, with the exception of your husband loses health insurance, loses his job, you have a baby, you need to add. Those things can happen throughout the year. But for the beginning of the year benefits, that has to be done by that Monday. We don't have to into August anymore. And basically, TRS has done that so that hopefully everybody can get their cards and everything by the 1st of September. All right, so the next thing you have is the healthcare premium sheet, comparing last year's and this year's. There's never any good news, so it is what it is. I'm gonna tell y'all something that I have always been a big believer in Blue Cross Blue Shield, or now it's Aetna, because I have children that have specialists in Fort Worth, and so I've always been a firm believer in that. However, at our last benefit meeting, there were lots of complaints of your doctor may take Aetna, but don't ask them if they take Aetna, ask them if they take TRS Aetna, because it is different. And if you have to have a procedure done at the hospital may be covered, your doctor may be covered, but that anesthesiologist may not be covered. And so they're saying it's the employee's job to research that, which I find to be very disturbing. I feel like you're paying this much, you shouldn't have to. We don't have a choice in the matter. Y'all can complain to me, but I can say sorry. So I myself am switching to Scott and White. And the reason being is if you keep, the next few pages are just different things about the different insurances, the benefits. There is in here is a map that shows Scott and White. Scott and White used to be just a Waco area, Temple area. It shows the blue area is everywhere Scott and White covers. It's towards the, keep going through all those things. So, I mean, most of ours are in Fort Worth or Dallas. So you may want to call if you have a specialist in Fort Worth or Dallas or somewhere like that and ask them if they take TRS or Scott and White TRS in city. I mean, it's just an idea. I'm not swaying y'all either way, but, and what one of the other business managers said when they asked their doctor, why don't you take it? They said because the Aetna TRS pays less than Medicaid to the doctors. So hard for doctors or to find good doctors to take it. So just an idea and something to look into. If you are wanting to switch or wanting to know comparisons, there's a phone number I can give you, and I'll actually email that out to everybody, that you can call this hotline and they will answer questions regarding the different TRS plans. Okay? So I will email that number after this afternoon. And so if y'all have questions, y'all can. But anyway, like I said, the next few sheets just show the differences in the TRS Aetna benefits from last year to this year in the first care and Scott. So y'all any questions over that? Okay. The next thing is the videos. I think most of y'all have already done your videos, but if you have not and you cannot find the email, I have put the instructions in your packet.
In progress.
Hey, and if
Go to
you
live
keep
chat.
saying that you haven't done it when you have, don't go to the live chat.
Yeah, go to live chat. But the live chat for me, they told me to log out and log back in and go to your courses. And usually you don't even have to print them out as you do them. You can go and print them all at one time. So, sorry, I know I've had lots of questions. I'm just now.
Well, he kept saying mine was in progress when I finished it. I did
Okay.
it twice.
Right, if you have problems with live chat, if live chat didn't work, they haven't gotten back to you. Live chat them again. Okay, do them again.
Yeah, well,
They'll do it and they'll email
Yeah.
it. And that's like I can email it directly to you.
Karen,
Would you
prefer us printing them or us emailing them?
Right. So do that or try logging out completely and logging back in and see if it showed up. Mine wouldn't show up and then I logged out and logged back in and it'll show your courses you took last year and this year. Okay. Okay, well, if that happens, then go ahead and check that and watch it. And if it still doesn't work, let me know.
Did you?
All right.
I tried.
I think that's everything. Okay, ATPE, if any of y'all want to have that deduction, I have printed forms and they're on that background table. If you will fill that out and get that to me by Friday, then I will get that started and taken out of your check starting tomorrow, okay? All right. My one bit of good news is we are ordering shirts for employees this year again, and we're actually ordering 2 shirts for employees this year, a long sleeve polo and a short sleeve polo. These shirts are in the teacher's workroom right here, the teacher's lounge. The short sleeve, there is a women's fit and a men's fit. If you're a woman and the men's fits you better, I don't care what you order, but you can only order 1 short sleeve, and the long sleeve only comes in men's cut, okay? I have the different sizes in there. If you will write what sizes you want on the form that's in there, by the end of today, I would like to order those tomorrow. The sooner I get them ordered and in, the quicker y'all get them.
Here, you guys,
Do y'all have any questions over that?
Have y'all done the forms over here, pre-K and K?
All right, the last thing I have is the employee deduction authorization form. If y'all will initial, if you want the flower fund for the new employees, our flower fund is employees contribute $20 at the beginning of their school year, and we put it into an activity account, and with that money, we buy flowers for someone whose mother passes away or something along that. Someone has a baby, if someone gets married, yes, for our big birthdays, and we buy cookies and stuff like that, we use our flower fund for that, okay?
Hilarious.
So if you want to, if you don't want to, just opt out. But that's the flower fund, is for $20 to come out at one time in September, okay? The next one is lunchroom charges. If you or your children, if you want them to be able to charge all month long, and then I take it out of your payroll check, then you need to initial here. Otherwise, they will have a $10 limit and you will have a $10 limit, okay? If you want to be able to charge as much as you want, and you take it out of your paycheck, then initial here. STP concession, if you want to be able to go to the volleyball game, a basketball game, a football game, you just walk up to the concession and charge it, then initial here, and they will give me those cards, and once again, I'll take that out of your paycheck. And that includes if your mom or your wife comes, they can charge also. I have my children go up and they charge. So, you just have to.
This for Hunter.
So, we're gonna pass this around. If you will initial what you want and draw a line through the box if you do not want it, okay? So if you want flower fund, luncheon, and STP, I need 3 initials across, all right? Do y'all have any questions for me?
Teacher's table.
If y'all do, I'm here Tuesday afternoon, I'm not here, and Friday morning, I'm not here next week, but other than that, I'm here the next 2 weeks, so if y'all have any questions.
Well, they took blue gold away. You don't get it.
All right, I'm done. Or Billy's.
This is.
We have a break.
Well, Brenda almost gave me back, the time the doctor is took, and I'll make sure that I get the rest of it back. I tried to get taken off the list so I wouldn't have to do this anymore, but to fill up the time, I thought about getting Ben to come help and do the puppet show, but he wouldn't do it, so we won't have no puppet show. As far as hooking up your computers, some of your computers are hooked up, some are not, so feel free to try to hook them up. If you can't, let me know, and I will hook them up. Your teacher computer is limited to where it is at. As far as the cable will stretch, that's as far as you can move from where you're at to the wall for the stuff on that. The work order system has changed.
We just got it figured out.
Yeah, it changed. I didn't change it. It was just a change as made. What's the deal? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, computers are from hell, so, you know. If you have ever put in a work order, ever, here at the school district, when you get there, it's gonna ask you for a username and a password. You don't have a password unless, so hit forgot password and it'll send you the information to change the password. So the first thing you see is gonna be a spot that asks you for a username and a password. So click forgot password. If you've never put in a work order, then you click new user or register as a new user and you'll fill everything out. Then it'll take you to the screen that you're used to and it all looks the same. At the bottom of that, it still has a little password spot and you still have to put in the word what? Password. It's the middle password.
So for the new teachers, that, to get to that work order form, it's still under staff?
Yes, it's all under staff, under staff resources, and then the IT and the other one
So it's on the web page, not web.
So click for what password.
Right, and you just click, you click forgot password because there never was a password. So.
Okay, you guys, here's the webpage. Go to staff resources.
It don't matter, they're both the same.
Yeah.
And see, it asks for email and password. So you forgot your password. So just put it in your email, when you click forgot password, you'll have to click it, it's gonna ask you again for your email address. Go ahead, see, forgot password. So you just put in your email address again and you'll hit submit, and it'll send you a link and you just click it and it's just gonna ask you to put in what you want your new password to be. So.
We all have the same password.
You put in whatever password you want. That's another one to remember,
Oh, it's
right?
not gonna be the one that we're gonna use at the
No.
work order though? Okay, so that's still password?
That is still password. They're still at the end of the work order, just like normal, there was that submittal password.
You have to say you forgot your password.
Anyways, and if you're new, you'll hit that at the bottom where it says never submitted a request. So there are some people that have never submitted a work order request here still, so if you've never submitted a request, click that, whether you're new or been here a while, so.
I just like to send one to say, no, you've been working.
And also, we have changed our internet filter also, so it is now iBoss. So if there's a problem with it filtering stuff that you wish to be open or wish to be closed, we can do that, and it can be different between students and teachers now. So there can be things that are open for y'all that are closed for the students, so we can customize it that way.
It's in my trash.
It may be in your trash, but Eric says there's trash. Also, the keys in this building and the keys in the gym for your door knobs are all changing. So your keys to your classroom will not work if you're in this building or if you're in the gym, once they change out the door handles.
Not everybody heard you. Can you please repeat that?
Yes.
Can you speak up, please?
I think this is a political rally.
Hey. If y'all would not be talking and be paying attention.
Are you all in congregation like that?
The door handles in this building and in the gym are changing. Interior, exterior doors are all the same. So you will need new keys if you have a classroom in this building or in the gym. So come see me and I will get you your new keys. If you lose your keys, it's going to be a $25 fee per key. And really that's just to deter you from losing them, because really it's $100 per key. Not even paying the cost of replacing the key. So they're different keys, but also, and like this one has it, there's a key that will go inside. Basically, you'll get at least two keys. One key for your outside of your door, and then you'll get a second key, which will let you for the inside of your door. So always keep your keys with you in case we go into lockdown. So say you're covering another classroom. If you have your keys, the second key, the AA7 key, everybody will have that one. Side from the inside. So if something was happening and you don't want to stick your head out the door, you can lock your door from the inside now. But students can't lock the door from the inside. It's a different key, but it'll be the same key. Basically, the key we made it. If the library's locked, it gets you in the library. If the student lounge is, or the teacher lounge is locked, it'll get you in there. So.
But will the key lock any classroom that you're in from the inside?
Yes.
But not on the outside.
Well,
Yeah, but on the outside, your key will not get you into every door anymore.
But will it get in here?
That's your second key that will lock from the inside will get you into the library. Library, computer lab, faculty, workroom, all of those are keys the same.
So when will we need to get this key?
You might need to get it now because my door lock has already been changed.
Yeah, they're in the process of changing them all now. To help me, because they're not really numbered, the list that they have and what we have don't match up. If you will open your door, you will see a number that somebody has put a piece of masking tape or something, and it'll have a number on it. So if you can tell me what that number is, it will aid in me knowing the correct key to get you something. That's all I have. So, questions? Other buildings the same. Don't have to worry about nothing if you're in the. We're just sitting ducks if we're in the old building. Yeah, you build.
The door's locked now?
Do what?
And
Yeah, he's gonna look.
That is a maintenance work order. All the exterior door keys are all going to remain the same. So only the interior doors are changing. We have keys now, so we can never let go.
One key will lock everything. Yeah, to get in.
Getting a lot And there's a pin prick you have to make and put it on the paper.
Okay, do you guys give me 5 to 10 more minutes and then we'll take a break? The reason for the more expensive keys, and I think this is a good thing security-wise, is these keys cannot go be reproduced anywhere. They can only be reproduced by this manufacturer. That is very good safety security-wise. That's why it does cost a little bit more. So you can't just take them to Walmart and make them. You have to, make them specifically. All right, I'm going to show you a couple things, and then we're going to take a break. So most of you guys are familiar with the homepage and how to do the IT and work orders. But for the new employees, this is where you just go to the homepage, abbotisd.org, and you go under staff and staff resources. So here's the transportation request form. We'll go through and you fill all that out. Region 12, coaches, scouting, anything that's going to be school related. Now, personal use is not summer leagues, booster club stuff. Personal use to go to a sporting event is not allowed. It has to be a school specific related event. So you come in here, you put all your name. This is really self-explanatory. You just put what vehicle you want and the students involved in the destination purpose, and then you submit. So that is that one. Here is the maintenance work order. We'll have to do that same process as well that Billy was showing you, but once you get that done, it's going to look similar to the transportation one, but there's more buttons to click, like the location. If you just put where the building is, we're going to find it. Ed's going to know where your room is. You can access your grade book here as well. So there's your IT work order, maintenance work order. And okay, a couple more minutes. And if you go to the calendar, where's the other? Talk to there. The calendar will show you what is checked out. So we'll look at Coach Holcomb. She's got number 2. So that's bus number 2. So, see if we can find one with the vehicles. So Coach Crawford checked out the SUV for the GT trip yesterday. So you can kind of click on there to see what's available. This needs to be a go-to. What happens is you forget last minute and you just take the vehicle. Don't do that. You've got to check this first, because somebody who did take the time and go beforehand checked it out, and if it's not there, it's very frustrating. That's not fair to them. So please check that out before you do anything. Okay, that's it for this portion. We're going to take about a 15-minute break, and we'll come back and we'll do the guidelines for staff.
I need to go check out the new refrigerator. It's nice. There was like a jumbo. Did I get you a jumbo refrigerator? So this is, I wrote it down, but I. Okay. Where are they?
Just come in and I was looking and I somehow forgot to do the picture.
How many bars? I didn't know how many. I didn't know that
The Monday before school starts.
No,
Oh, no, excuse me.
yeah.
Either do it then,
That's
we
why I said-
always just do it, Joe Basic.
Yeah.
Or Tuesday the 30th, they're coming to take pictures like that. I didn't know how y'all wanted to do it, but y'all wanted to be here. Whether you want us to try to take it early, when they do the volleyball stuff, or if I just come in there one day and show y'all my and all their stuff.
Okay.
Think about it and let me know what you would
So
like.
you're for that one. Yeah.
I don't know how to do that, but, let me know what you would like. Yes, that Tuesday, it's like the second Tuesday of school.
So give the one to all of us.
Because they're gonna come back, you know, how they do the fall pictures, you know, so we can already get that in the yearbook. And that's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna try to, probably send out an email and say, guys, if y'all could be here early, because as soon as they have it set up, all the teachers can run there, or elementary teachers can just go and get their classes. But secondary teachers, they need to go to their schools. Because like pre-K, when Miss Laura brings off her little pre-K, she goes to the lunch, she can just go through the thing. You know.
I did only accept mutual order because she wanted to.
Feed us. And those who get it.
She didn't.
I was already telling you.
You'll have all these.
I don't know what it is
I gave
about
her,
school.
she said she wanted.
I can use it yet whenever.
Well, she didn't like.
But actually, it's like strawberry stuff.
Well, I didn't.
It's like strawberry jam.
Yes.
And you gotta shoot it on. Okay, now, are we going to do lunch? You should have these stuff up here. Are we gonna do lunch count the same as we did last year? Would you like us to do it?
I mean, new
We
chickens
can
that are.
Seriously, we start.
1 week, Joyful, and they say she can't hear, and then she goes to the other one, and she hears her. I'm waiting for chickens, and all not doing as much this year because there's a lot of ways.
There's no.
And I've got them ready, I've got already made.
So it's easier for me to just do that and stick it outside my door like we did last year? Will do.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Miss Lynn or?
Shelly P. having a meeting contractor.
Fast.
Yeah, that's really.
See, I have that. Maybe that could happen. Maybe they did. Yeah, because that's just a picture. But you know what I was looking at? What I was looking at. Because that's all I have. So I'm so sorry. I knew I had to. She's like, I saw more those. That night I was here late and I wrote down what I gave her. But I hadn't seen you. I apologize. All of through this, one more once. And then, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
So how was it yesterday? So she didn't even.
I'll do it. That was my concern. I'll do
Second half sometimes.
It was quicker, kind of like that last night.
Well, she lost more. So one was probably that younger one was the younger. She was tall. They don't really have any height. The one.
Yes.
She was their center last year.
And she was the center last night. And she did a pretty good job too.
A very scarred hair.
I'm pretty sure.
Where did you go to college?
Oh, very good. I haven't got her a TV.
Yeah,
She graduates in senior high stuff.
Yes, I did hear, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I've seen her before, but yeah.
I did run football and volleyball, but these are all thinking about.
Right. You can, if not, I'm going to.
I did, yeah, I did one football one.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start in about 30 seconds and finish up the conversation. All right, so let's go ahead and get started again. Starting back. Okay, Brenda wanted me to show you where all the forms were. So all the forms that she gave you, you can access that online. So you go back to the home page, you go back to staff, and forms. Here's all the forms: direct deposit, credit card. Do you have PO?
No, purchase orders are the only thing you have to come to my office and get. Now, all these forms are outside my office too. So if you don't want to print them online or type them up electronically, they're outside my office. But the only thing you have to get from my office is the purchase order form because they're duplicate.
Here is one for field trips. It's right here, parental notice of a school field trip. And I'll just go back. That's a one page you can fill out the top and the bottom and make copies and have that and send that out to your kids. That's one that we get used a lot. So there's some different forms there. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go into guidelines for staff.
Did everybody get a copy of it? It was back there.
There were not a lot of changes, some personnel changes, and one that's going to tie in that is included on the employee handbook as well that we make you guys aware about. And I'll point that out when we get to that part. All right. So absent from duty form, Brenda talked about that. Those are supposed to be filled out before your absence. And if you are sick, then you need to get that filled out that next day and get that turned in. Oh, I've got the little sign-in sheet for the gates going around. You need to sign up for one football, one volleyball. So if you didn't get the football, please go look at that.
Yeah, volleyball's all weekend.
Volleyball. I went ahead and did 3 on the volleyball side. I can't do the football, otherwise I would do some of those. Volleyball, it's a little bit, I think, easier for me to keep Kate in to be the first one. But I did the volleyball. That's why I didn't do any football ones. If I could do them all for you, I would, but I can't, so I need you guys to help me out with that. If there's blanks on those games, I'm going to come and look for volunteers. So hopefully there's enough to get everybody on that one side. Okay, so absent from duty form, we got that covered. Air conditioner and heaters. I would say on average, as a whole, we don't do a really good job when we leave turning those AC down. And I think that's just an easy way to conserve on some money. So by the end of the day, please turn that AC down. If you've got helpers, and especially in the elementary world, you have a student, you can assign them to remind you, hey, you get that each day. But please be very mindful of that. And electronics as well. There's times throughout the year where I will come in and the smart boards are posted up. Those burn a lot of energy and they do burn bulb hours. So when you leave, make sure everything is turned off on that. Okay? Not all of them, not all of them. Yes,
In my building, and the old one, I just turn it off, is that okay, or you just want me to be playing with the
no, you just turn
temperature?
it
I
off.
just turn it off.
That's fine. You can never. But like in the summer, I'd come in and, rooms would be on 70 because somebody came in and brought stuff and then they were just forgotten to be turned off. So you should just be very mindful of that.
I would say on weekends especially, people walk around town, and I've probably gotten comments from 4 or 5 people that they're walking around town, they're walking by the school, and there's 4 ACs on a Saturday or Sunday. So,
Maybe computer rooms.
right, and I tell people that too, but
But there's some classrooms mixed in there, so they're just energy consumers, so help us out with that. Asbestos information, you can get with Dr. Edison, anything regarding that. Assignments, teachers are supposed to be in the classroom by 7:45 and aides are to be in by 7:30. So you are supposed to be at your duty station during the entire class period. And I know there's times where we go get papers off the copiers. That is just not good practice. That's the time when something's going to happen. Fortunately, there have been very few incidents here, but you need to be proactive and try to eliminate anything. So stay in your room. If you need somebody to come cover you, call me, call the front office. We can get you covered really quickly as soon as we can. I think that would be the best way to do it. So just keep that in mind. Never leave students unattended. Between passing periods, please be out in the hallway. That's just that good practice to make sure that the kids are behaving, especially in these 2 aisles here. It's a little bit harder there on the old building. You guys do a really good job of kind of taking corners and watching the corner for those hallways. There is a little bit of overlap. There was last year with junior high lunches. And I know some of those junior high kids come in and you've got class going on and they're quite loud. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you send them from the cafeteria, just tell them when they come into the classroom or the hallways that there's classes going on. All right, teacher workday begins at 7:45 and ends at 3:45. But I mean, that's just the minimum. We're gonna have kids that are gonna need that help and that tutoring. So please make yourself available to these students, especially the athletes or the ones who've got a lot of activities and they can't do these in the mornings or afternoons. So if they can't do an afternoon, work with them in the morning or the break, and then vice versa as well. If you need to leave campus, you need to sign out in the front. We need to keep a record of that. And that's not really to keep tabs on you, but that's just so if somebody's calling and we don't know where you are, we can look and see that you've signed out so that we know that you're off campus. Attendance, ADA, average daily attendance is at 9:10. If you need to set a timer, alarm, please do so. All other classes must be posted within the first 15 minutes of class time. Reports are run from 3:30 to 4. Never post attendance after this time because it will throw the numbers off for the day. This is another area that needs to be improved on. For the most part, majority of you guys do a really good job, but there are times where attendance does get missed. And that puts a lot of work on Shelley, and that is a responsibility of yours. If you can get that in when you're supposed to, that just takes stuff off of her at the end of the day where she's having to call back, tell you, hey, to go repost. So really monitor that one this year and try to get that taken care of each day. I'm going to go over these notes that she has. All right, attendance posted at 9:10, no sooner during the ADA period. Never post in red ink or pencil or on any document. Okay, if we get audited, they come in, they look at that, and they do not want to see that. The pencil, you can do that anytime. I don't know really about the red, but I guess they like the blue or the black. Blue or black's good? Shelley?
Anything that's not red or pencil.
When covering other teachers' classes and are using the attendance roster they left you, always sign and date them. There are numerous times this year we have received rosters turned in with no signatures. If you Now, if you're sick, then we can do what we can to get you rosters in there for the sub. But if you know you're gonna be out, you've got to have that stuff set up, ready to go for that sub coming in or for whoever's covering your class. So please take the time before you leave and have that printed off. And that, a lot of you guys are really good. You have got your lesson plans and then your rosters right on top of it. I mean, that's exactly what we want to see. And it just makes it easier for everyone that's here.
You want those just left in our room for stuff right now?
Preferably up to the front to where we can, I don't know, I mean, it's,
So I used to put that folder up there, and then they told me not to be doing that.
okay. Well, if you've got attendance rosters and everything, if you leave it on your desk and the sub's coming in, then we'll get that. But if it's gonna be in a situation where they're not gonna be in your classroom, then it needs to be up front. It is the teacher's responsibility to always print off class rosters if they know they are going to be out. If your sub is going to be another teacher, please give them the roster before you leave. Do not leave on your desk for this. Okay, there we go. Most of the time, the person covering is going to be using their own classroom and does not have time to go and check and see if you left them one. It is on the, if it is an outside sub, please bring your rosters to the office before 3:30 the day before and give to Ms. Kohler so they can have them ready when the sub comes to sign in for the day. Anytime you're covering a class, there should be an attendance roster to be signed off on. Please do not ever cover a class without one. In the past, there have been instances of asking for them and the person covering said they never received one, so they didn't take attendance. This is really bad in the PEIMS world. And when those audits come in, we are held accountable for that. I think last year there were, like, schools could get in financial trouble. You can lose your ADA funding, and that's just not a situation that we want to happen for something just taking care of business. That needs to be done on a daily basis, or anytime that you're out. If you cannot find one anywhere, please send a student to the office, and one will be printed for you. And then an email will be sent to the person who did one. So, if you're in a classroom, nothing, send the kid to the front office. If you're off campus with students at ADA time, you may use your phone to take attendance, but be aware it still needs to be taken at 9:10. The best practice is to print off an attendance roster and verify and sign before you leave and send to the office. Please be aware that sometimes you may get a text or email if you are way past the ADA attendance taking time from 9:10. Okay? None of that is really new.
So, just to clarify, like, for the new teachers, because that ADA time is during the second period, but they'll be taking attendance each class period.
Oh, okay.
So not just at one time. I know that elementary take it, right, at just one time, but the high school and junior high will be taking for each period.
Yeah, when we say ADA time, we mean that's the time that the state takes a picture of that day, who's in class, how many kids we're gonna get funding for. They do not care about first, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. We're not getting paid for that. But second period is the snapshot of when we're gonna get money, how much money we're gonna get that day on the student, if they're in your class.
I think there's some teachers, first period, they will take attendance right away and a kid will come in tardy. And then you have that question, are they tardy or are they absent?
We have a question. He said that, or you said that you can't take it before 9:10?
Right, you're not supposed to. I know it's
Okay,
very
so what
hard
do
on y'all.
we're supposed to take it right at 9:10, or is that?
We are told, yes, every person in the state of Texas, whatever their snapshot time is, you're supposed to take it at that time. We know it's not
Okay.
really work like that in the real world, but TEA doesn't care. They want you to get it as close as you can, preferably set an alarm, train your students how to, hey, Miss P, it's 9:10, you need to take attendance. Stop.
Okay, 'cause I was-
You're in the middle of assignment, it's hard. It really is, but they don't care about that. They just want to know at that time, how many students are sitting in that desk.
What is it?
So back to the first period situation. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, PEIMS code says a student must be in class for 75% of that time. So if you take 75% of 45 minutes, I think it's a little over 10 minutes.
Yeah, a little over 10 minutes.
So don't try to get out of the habit of taking attendance within that first 10-minute block. Because if they come in before that, then they're still technically not absent. I mean, they come in and they're tardy, and that's a whole different situation.
Yeah, especially during ADA period. If you count them absent at 5 minutes after the bell rings at 8:55 and you count them absent at 9 o'clock, but they're there at 9:10, actually they're not absent because they're sitting in that seat at 9:10 during ADA. So, and I know it's hard for people because they want to take attendance as soon as the class starts to get it over with. But technically, if they're sitting in that seat at 9:10, they're here.
There was a lot of times that the kid would come in before, when they were still present, but you would count them absent, and Shelley would have to go back and fix that and would change everything. And that's just another thing for her to do, which can be changed. So I don't know what the best means of doing that for you guys is.
You might pop it for the first week, just make a bell or something, or come on and, hey, don't forget. And let's get it all lined up.
I just set an alarm
Yeah, most
on.
people set alarms on their phone or alarms
And my kids
or
know
a timer
exactly what
or,
it's for.
yeah, or if you train your kids, hey, it's 9:10, you need to set it.
So we got to.
They're tardy, but they're still present.
Okay, number 6.
That what you want, Mark? Just tardy. Basically, he's saying don't.
If a student comes into your class late after you have already posted them absent, the students must go in person. Go to the person they were with and have them complete a student in transit form. Attendance cannot be changed without proper documentation. So if they're tardy because they were in another classroom, they gotta go back to that person and get that form, and then that turns into Shelley at the end of the day. Any complaints can be taken to me. If you have a complaint on me, you go to Dr. Edison, but hopefully you'll come to me first. Talk to me. Discipline. All disciplinary action must be documented and records maintained by the person administering the action. This is just good practice as well, especially when you're trying to establish behaviors and tendencies with students. And I know it's a pain to take that time to do that, but we need this documentation, whether it's for ISS referrals, detentions, for special ed, RTI. Documentation is going to be the key to go back to anything. So you can always look back at that. If you ever find yourself in a court situation, they're going to be saying, where's your documentation? So it's good practice to always have documentation. And I will, for the new guys, teachers, detention referrals are done through the gradebook system. Ms. Little, are you going to be going over that?
On that Monday after.
So she will touch base with you guys on that. And I like that because it keeps an electronic list. For me, I can, at the end of the year or come semester, I can say, hey, your kids had 30 detentions. Classroom discipline plans, techniques, and expectations should be given to me for approval for the first day of school. Send a copy home to the parents to keep one signed by the parent in your files. I want discipline to be consistent. No cell phones in the classroom. We have all technology. And I know cell phones are a big part of the students, but we have the technology that they need. So don't really see a specific need in the classroom for it. We give them time at break and at lunch. Now, if you've got something and it's a instructional activity with their cell phones and you include that in your lesson plans, then I'll be okay with it. But it's got to be specifically tied to instruction. I mean, I go in, kids are out on their phones because they finished early and they got the last 5 minutes. I don't want to see that. I mean, I want it to be very consistent this year. I don't want any cell phones in the classrooms. unless it's specific instructional use. And I really want that to be consistent because these students and the parents don't get it either. Like, I go into one classroom and it's fine, and I go into another one and it's not fine. It just really needs to be consistent throughout the year. So I think that's just gonna be the easiest way to do it. I would love to give the kids cell phone usage during passing periods, but I don't know, I'm not ready to open that can of worms yet because I haven't seen them prove to me that they can do it in the classroom and be responsible. So that's a conversation that you may have with them as well, like, hey, if you want more freedom, you gotta show us that you know how to do this. And I know kids are gonna be kids, and I mean, as adults, we're on our phones too. I get that, but we've got control of these classrooms, and this is your domain, and if they're got the last 5 minutes, then they need to be doing something else. Dress. Employees must make professional dress throughout the year. T-shirts may not be worn during the school day except Fridays. Capri pants must meet mid-calf. Visible tattoos must be covered. I don't know if any of the new employees have tattoos, but make sure that they're covered. Equipment, care of equipment and wise use of consumable supplies are the responsibilities of each employee. School equipment and supplies will not be available for use, rent, or loan outside of the facilities other than school-sponsored activities. We have our meetings on Fridays. Fridays are going to change. I think most of you are aware with that. We are going to 3 o'clock each day. So some of you may not be aware of that, so I think this is a good time to talk about that. We have developed a new Friday schedule, and is that available online? No. I'll just go to that while we're here. Where do you have it?
On the right, on the bulletin board on the right.
Okay, so the reason for this is state has, with everyone going to the minutes, the state has defined a school day of 7 hours. That is a requirement. We have to meet that. There are no more waivers or exceptions to that, so we have to go to 3. That is going to come up with parents. So please make sure you include this, especially on the elementary ones, your notes home, the communication, that we are going until 3 o'clock on Fridays. That's the reasoning for it. But we do still have some flexibility within that day. So I think this is a schedule that kind of covers a lot of ground and stuff, and I don't know, I think you guys will like it. So the Monday through Thursday will be the same. They're all 40-minute class periods. We have a 15-minute break in the morning. So cafeteria, get that 15-minute break there. And then after the lunch, we're going to have a pep rally, and then when football's over, that is going to be a homeroom situation. I haven't really determined where the kids are going to, who they are going to be assigned to. I don't know if we're going to go, well, we probably can't do first period with junior high and then the conferences. So that's something that I still need to play with. But when we're not doing pep rallies, the homeroom is going to be a great opportunity for these kids to go to tutoring. And then second semester UIL practice, we are building it into the day. So I think it's a great utilization of a day, and we're getting 40-minute classes, so we're only losing the 5 minutes there on Friday. So something we play with, and there is no different schedules on a Friday. We're all going to eat lunch together, and so there is no changing that on those days. But Monday through Thursday, you will have your alternating schedule for junior high, like 6th and high school, or junior high 5th and high school 6th. There's 2 lunch periods on Monday through Thursday. You have junior high lunch and then a high school lunch, and those have different class daily schedules too. So the junior high lunch is 11:35 to 12:05, and that's going to be high school 5th period. And then when junior high is done with lunch, they will go to junior high 5th from 12:10 to 12:55, and high school is going to go to lunch. For the But on Fridays, it's all one time. So, sorry I didn't tell you any sooner. And we are gonna be eating later on that day, it's at 12:40. But, and that's why we threw in the break too, so they can continue to have that breakfast. And then everybody's eating.
That means you're not gonna get. That's what I told her, she should go for lunch. She usually.
Thank you, Drew. We did a much better job second semester on lunch counts.
Yes.
So please continue that. The hardest ones are gonna be your junior high athletics, first period. Go ahead.
Carol came see me sometimes, the ladies from the lunchroom would walk over there and get it, you know, kind of get a little exercise and come see how agriculture. Thank you for doing that, I mean, we really bonded up.
You don't want to lose that bonding time.
We don't want to bond it. We can have a party.
Hey, when we're outside football, can I send you a text?
Absolutely,
Okay. I
absolutely.
think that started working for us at the end of last year.
I'll get you my number so you can send it to me.
And what happens with an inaccurate lunch count is that these kids who put in a specific order and they get there to high school lunch, that food is gone. And they're the ones who put in the lunch count and did all this stuff. It's the students who, and then those other ones who didn't put in an account, they'll come in and they'll say, oh, I want this. And so they're taking somebody else's food that they put. So that's really the big importance of a lunch count for the students. And for Carolyn, it really lets her know how much food to prepare. And so we don't have waste.
And all the junior high will be in athletics, 6 through 8.
Okay, all of junior high is in athletics. So
Are those forms gonna be
have
on
a
box?
kid,
You said you
take
printed
it
out
down.
new lunch forms, or you taking them
probably
to us?
just bring them to you.
Okay. Don't use it last year.
Oh, you can.
Okay.
I just made sure one check there.
So faculty
Older
meetings
classes, because all the card is. Okay.
are typically done, always done on Fridays. I've never had one not on Friday. I try to do one at least once a month. And I don't know of too many that we've had, two in a month. But those are there. Your Fridays are gonna be pushed back a little bit later, especially in those 220 days. The shredders, we have shredders in the high school workroom and elementary workroom. Please utilize these during the school day. Business color will not be available to make distribute copies for you. Please utilize your non-classroom time for the copies. And you're supposed to be in the classroom with the students anyway. Field trips, instructionally based, do not plan multiple trips in the same week, and that's for bus reasons. Teachers may request a particular bus driver, submit field trips or transportation requests, send those to them. Well, that is done through that transportation request system where I showed you guys. Please allow 10 days so we can make sure that the buses are available. Fundraising, you need to get with me or Dr. Edison for approval. All money collected must be turned in the office for deposit. You should keep a receipt for your own records.
Once again, with fundraising money, if you'll fill out that deposit form. Because I get a whole lot of little stickies that sometimes I don't know what the sticky is for. It'll come off the money, and if I can get a deposit form. I mean, I know sometimes y'all are in a rush, and if you don't have time to fill out the dollar amount, especially on big deposits, just at least give me the total of the deposit on that deposit form and what it's for.
Student grade reports must be maintained by all teachers. Grade books are to be current coded so someone else can see them. Grading standards must be explained in the notes. The principal is responsible for having grades recorded on students' records, grades requested for determination of extracurricular should be provided by the teachers to the coaches, and grades are due Monday at 8 a.m.
Can you explain to them to change that on the,
It's coming back on project. More and more parents are using the parent portal, which is a great thing because you want those parents involved. But it's only good if you've got those grades inputted. And I know some of you do electronic and some of you do hard copies. I think grades should be inputted on a weekly basis. I mean, that's my personal belief because it's not fair. I mean, I had several complaints and it cost a kid from, the kid fell, but the parent didn't think he fell because they went and looked at a grade at a later time because it got changed, and the kid wasn't able to go and participate in some of an activity. I don't think it's really fair for a parent to look up and they're looking at a grade that doesn't reflect what's currently the grade in that classroom at that time. So try to come up with systems and try to input these grades in a more timely fashion. Majority of you guys do a wonderful job with this, but I think it needs to be very transparent so that a parent can see, okay, this grade is very accurate. So they're not coming in 6 weeks or the fifth 6 weeks saying, what happened? Everything was going good, but we inputted a bunch of grades and it really brought them down. So now that's fine if that happened for that week, but if you're sitting on 2 weeks of grades, then I don't think that's very fair for those parents. And a parent's going to find any excuse. They're not going to blame their kid. They're going to blame you guys. That's just how it goes for a small percentage of parents. So if that's very reflective, you're going to save yourself and myself a lot of problems. So please keep that in mind. All right, injuries are to be reported to the superintendent as soon as possible. Request workers' comp benefits for an injury that's sustained at work. All injuries to students requiring first aid, professional medical treatment, and loss of class time are to be reported on a proper form as soon as possible to me. So that is that. What do you call that form, Ms. Coleman? That injury
accident report?
Accident report form. Anytime a kid is injured, we need to have that on file, just for our own benefit. To say there was an incident a couple of years ago, and it wasn't put on file immediately, and that parent was very upset. They're looking back on us, we don't even have it on file. And so just make sure that those get turned in. I think we had the record last year for me. There was a lot of incident reports. All right, leaving campus. Do not leave campus during duty hours unless you clear it with principal. All staff must leave before the end of the instructional day, must sign out in the front office. Lesson plans are to be developed weekly. Plans should be developed at least 1 week in advance. Submit copies to me by Sunday evening. If you can get them sooner to me, like Friday afternoon, that would be great. I don't have to read lesson plans on the weekend. But I do read them on the weekend, so I do get those, I don't know, sometimes 10 o'clock at night, Sunday evenings. I won't read those until Monday.
Is the format the same? Can we use the same form?
Same format. Work closely with library personnel concerning the library. Set aside time to use library and provide adult supervision while they're in the library. Do not send kids for library books unless they have prior arrangements made with the library attendant. This past year, there's a few times where I saw junior high kids checking out books. I don't want to see that. Not that I don't trust the kid, but I don't think they should be given that opportunity to check out their own books. If they're checking out a book, it needs to be done with an adult on the other side of that. Lunch, student handbook, charges, bill counts are to be done in such a manner not to reveal the identity or free or reduced. That's not really an issue. Memorandum will be distributed from time to time. Communication is done through email, and it's a great resource. So frequently check your email. If you need to get me right away, I don't know if I'm gonna be at my desk, so the quickest way to get me is to text me for the most part if I'm on campus. I usually respond to that fairly quickly. Angry or abusive parents should be maneuvered to the office. Let's send them to technology. So you've got them in here, they're upset, you know, call me, text me, but we need to try to get them to the office away from the kids. All employees are expected to never behave in ways that belittle, degrade, or otherwise make derogatory reference about a student or the student's family. So don't engage in an abusive parent's behavior. You know, be the voice of reason in that situation. You know, we can deal with it later, but at that moment in time, try to diffuse the situation. Parent conferences should be conducted during teachers' regular conference period. Otherwise, arrangements should be made through the principal. Do not have parent conferences in the teacher's workroom. Any student that fails, I do want face-to-face conferences this year. There was a lot of impact. We did that second semester after they failed the first semester. And I think that was very impactful for the parent to sit there across from the table and look at us, and we're explaining the reasons why that kid will fail. So I want to see those done each 6 weeks. If a kid fails, then we need to bring that parent in. Payday is the 27th. Personal phone calls, long distance, cell phone, texting, only during conference, before school, after school, only or except in emergency situations. Okay, progress reports. This is a little bit different. Grades will be due and cut off the progress reports on Friday. Okay, now that could be a little bit more time consuming for those who are not keeping up with the computer-based grade book on a frequent basis. But I want that to be just a clear-cut Friday. I don't want it lingering in to that next week. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? And that is for eligibility reasons. That's the big push for this one. And then that way there is no confusion about a late grade coming in on Monday. And I know there's going to be situations on a student-to-student basis where they may have had late work. Just let me know about that, and we can look at those on an individual basis. But I think this is just going to make things easier on the other end. It may not be easier for you to get the grades in. I do apologize for that, but we know exactly when grades are cut off at that point. So we're going to run those on Monday.
So what time do you want to do on Monday? About 8, 10, what?
Friday.
Oh, they have to have them to me by Friday?
They don't have to have to you by Friday. They have all the grades must be inputted on Friday.
The way that the state law reads on no pass, no play is it has to be taken on that Friday. So
So what
last instructional day of the third week, you know, which when we're basing it off of the way we've been doing progress reports, some of those teachers' grades are based on Monday, some are based on Tuesday morning.
Right, if they were doing it.
Their cutoff for progress report has to be that Friday, so that we'll know for eligibility purposes that we'll pass.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, when are they due to me so I can get them mailed out so the parents can see them?
Bonnie said Monday morning.
They're usually Monday at 2.
Well, no, last year you did it on Tuesday.
This says there's.
Simplest thing would be 8 a.m. Monday morning.
That's
We're
what
not,
I'm saying.
you're not gonna have any more grades between Friday, you can do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's what I'm saying. So what time does it need to be due to me? 8 a.m. on Monday?
8 a.m. Monday morning.
But the one in there on Friday, they're gonna be there.
So why not just send it Friday?
Well, she can run it whenever, but you want them in the grade book and final on Friday unless it was something with the, individual basis,
I'm
right?
talking about the hard copy.
Yeah.
I'm talking about for the parents who aren't gonna look at parent portal and then they're gonna get that progress report. What day they're gonna get that progress report?
Progress reports will be going out on Monday, but,
Teachers cram.
but as
Oh, you
far
cannot.
as
I'm talking about mailing them
consistent
out.
with the,
Yeah, the third 6 weeks progress report is what I'm talking about.
She's talking about the
right,
efficiency
right,
notices.
right,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So you want them to me by 8 o'clock that Monday morning if they're cut off on Friday? Okay.
It's still gonna be $75 below, right?
Yes, 75.
Purchases, nothing should be purchased without prior approval from the superintendent or myself. I think we've gone over that in credit card requests. Report cards are to be issued to students on the first Wednesday following the end of the grade period unless a different day is announced. Grades must be completed, submitted Monday by 8 a.m. If you will be late, see me in advance.
Do the kids have to turn in their report cards? Some of my kids do, some don't. Some you come like-
No,
And the kids ask me, do I need to bring this back?
the paper copy, it's not like it used to be when you used to have to bring it back so the teacher could write on it again.
So Ms. Kohler, do you want us to collect those and bring them all back to you?
She's just always collected it until they got turned in. Basically, you don't, unless the teacher wants to see the practice is for the parent to sign it, get it turned back to the teacher so the teacher knew that parent seen that report card. So basically, it's up to y'all.
It'd be a classroom decision, you know, if you want to guarantee that. And I don't, that issue is not elementary, is it?
No, but they always bring them back, but
Right.
if we don't, they don't.
Mine just bring them back in every
This-
classroom. I had somebody secondary, like 4 kids in secondary, bring it back, maybe 12 kids in fifth grade.
I wanna know this. I wanna know this.
That's what I'm saying.
That's just me.
But like, junior high and high school, you know, it's gonna care.
I just wanna know if they thought.
But see, that's for
But that's for me.
junior high and high school.
That's not.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave that to the teacher to decide if you want to see that.
It's not that big a deal.
Okay, removal of items, cannot remove inventory items without prior approval. Here's the responsibilities. None of that has changed. So I'll let you look at that. Safety drills, all personnel should study and explain to students as soon as feasible after they enroll, the disaster plan. We got safety training, and it's a day-long training during staff development, so I don't know exactly what that's gonna look like either, so I'm gonna be in the same position with you guys. We got a company that's gonna come in and talk to us about this stuff. Sick or absent, please call me. There's my phone number. I think all the new guys, you have my phone. Okay. Yeah. Student materials. Okay, this one is different. And this is included in the employee handbook too, because we had a situation at the end of the year where stuff had come up and I don't know, I mean, how else do we hold each other accountable if unfortunately we have to put it in writing. But stuff will come up missing, and I don't think if due diligence isn't done on your part, then I don't think it's the school's fault. So, and that's going to be on a situational basis as well. But fortunately, I think it needs to be going right. Let me plug this in. All right, so you are responsible for any item that is checked out to a student or yourself. This includes student edition textbooks, teacher edition textbooks, calculators, Chromebooks, tablets, etc.
Unless you want to move.
Yeah. Okay, It is your responsibility to contact students and parents when an item is missing or not returned. Once communication has been established with the student and parent, you must make the principal aware of the missing items in a timely manner. You will be charged for the missing items if no communication is established and the principal is not informed. You will be charged for missing teacher edition textbooks. I don't know, I just think something needs to be put in place. Now, what I'm saying is, you assign these textbooks to a kid. They're accountable for that textbook. We had a situation last year where a teacher just left it there, kids were grabbing any book, there's no accountability. So how do you hold a kid accountable for that? Now, when you check them out and those kids are responsible for that, and they take it back to the lockers, those kids have those accountabilities. So if the kid's not coming in with that textbook, you need to make the parents aware that you are doing your, what was the terminology? Due diligence. Due diligence. You're doing your due diligence to contact that parent and that student and say, that textbook is missing. So that falls on the kid, and I'm going to do everything I can to get that money from those students. That's what that's saying. Now, if you do nothing, and you can't show me any records or documentation that you have tried that, then that falls on you. So I think it's important to have that in there for us, because if a Chromebook goes missing, we have to pay for that. But if a Chromebook is assigned to a kid every day, they go and grab number one and you're checking that. Or at the end of class, every class period, you go in and check the card. They're all there, then you're good. That's an easy check. And I think that responsibility does need to fall on you guys, because if that's not being done and Chromebooks are just missing, then that's not the school's fault. So that's the reasoning for that. And I hope you guys understand that. And I think that's just being proactive. Are there any questions with that?
How are textbooks numbered? Are they numbered? How do they check them out to kids? Or do kids
Textbooks
just
are
write their
numbered.
names in? Okay.
I give a inventory list. So you guys, yours, all junior high is consumable except math stuff. I think yours is not consumable, right? Right. Yours is not consumable. So consumable stuff, you know, if they lose it, then I guess it's the same way. It's their responsibility. If they want another textbook, then we're gonna have to buy another one. But that hardbound stuff, the kid will sign it and then they'll sign off on the sheet, and we keep a list of that sheet. Do you think that's been pretty effective, Marcia? I mean, when we track down who it was, and we've gotten 2 kids to pay for books, so I think that's been good.
Since mine, history and geography, we just have a classroom set. Because since we combine 9th and 10th grade, it's obviously more than 25 kids.
Sure.
So last year, I just gave the kid the number. I didn't necessarily, they knew which one to get off the shelf. Do you want me to have them though? Do you still want me to sign in? Because like for this year, for world history, 2 kids are gonna have book 7. So do I need to go ahead and write both their names in book 7? But then if something's torn up, and usually they don't tear them up because we don't use them quite as much.
They don't leave your classroom, do they?
No, sir, only unless if a kid goes to ISO, I had to take one out. But,
That was the issue we were running into, is
Okay.
that textbook was leaving the classroom
okay,
and for homework reasons, and they were not getting brought back. I mean, we found 2, I think, 2 weeks ago in the boys' locker room, or the girls' locker room.
Boys
locker
two
room.
English books.
And,
In the junior high boys equipment room, actually. And I'm sure it was when they were redoing the floors, they were probably in the bleachers, and the floor company probably just put them somewhere. But it was like freshman English.
but those, yeah, I mean, those freshman boys, I mean, there was no accountability. I mean, they
It was
just,
one girl, one boy too.
and the boys would go and take the girls' books, and I couldn't make a girl pay for that. You know what I mean? So,
And that's a problem, is the lockers, as Ms. Fuller can attest, the lockers that are not used, the ones who have over there in science, who are like over here, the freshman or the sophomore, over here in this building, well, when they would leave my room, they would just stick their book into a spare locker or
Sure.
somebody else's locker.
And I think we can fix that. I mean, we can zip tie those or something. They'd have
We've
to
done that.
physically cut.
Ed has done that for me. When I've become aware of that, Ed has done that. He zip ties them.
I know it sounds like it's coming on you, but it's really coming on the kid. If they're not getting it in there, then you guys need to have those conversations with the kid, because, I mean, I'm very limited on my textbook funds, and those carry over from year to year, so I've got to have these funds. And we've got new adoptions of other languages than English is coming up, and I think your reading and English is in a couple of years are coming up, so that's going to be big expenses. So that's why that's in there. So I hope you guys understand that. If you have any questions with that, come see me.
Hey, on the consumables, like I had probably 2 or 3 just break completely last year, all the pages. Do you want that reported like a loss? I mean, I had extras and gave them a new one, but
Sure.
treat it like a lost one.
Absolutely. And that's
And I don't
okay.
think it was on the kid, it just.
They do
the
just fall
book
apart. I
broke
mean, they're,
and fell apart and you had pages.
the covers
everywhere.
always fall off.
Yeah.
And then once the covers are gone, it's like.
And so, and we get those every year, and you should have that. The problem runs into if you get new students and we don't have the textbook yet, because we don't know that. But I mean, they still need to take care of them, even though it's a consumable. I mean, it's, because I've seen them flying. Okay. Tasha, you need to kind of get an inventory of your calculators. I want to do that with you. We'll look at what we've got. Yeah. Dylan, you should be good. Did you found your calculators? I think he's got those locked up.
Yes, there's 30. You should have 30.
All right, no student should be permitted to leave campus without prior approval. Appropriate forms must be filled out if they leave campus. No student will be taken from the classroom without principal's approval or a note. Teachers are not to permit students to leave class for any reason without a hall pass. You know, this one kind of goes up and down. We get relaxed on that. And it's easy to say, yeah, I'll go to the bathroom. I don't know. This is a personal thing for me. I want to see something in the kids' hands so I know that they're not just wandering around. So that's kind of my thing. Sometimes we do really good. Sometimes we just get really relaxed. No drinks or food in the classroom unless I've given approval. Students are not allowed to enter an elementary side. Arrangements must be made. Okay, just a few more of these. I think we're almost done. All right, a certified teacher must always be responsible for groups of students. An aide must be assigned and non-instructional duties, but the teacher is responsible for punitive disciplinary actions. General areas of teacher evaluation, human relations. And we're going to go into more detail with this with our T-test training. You guys are going to love it. But it is statewide. So. General areas, okay. Planning, organization, control, methods, evaluation, reporting, routines, duties, attendance, lunch. Personnel, qualities, grooming, appearance, punctuality, attendance, attitude, care, protection of district properties, professional development. All right, appraisal period 1, beginning 3rd week, the first semester ending on Friday. That's actually changed to 6 weeks now. We're not going to do anything those first 6 weeks. I don't do it anyway. I start looking at appraisal really in October. Second semester during holidays, We'll do more on that with deep dive. Teamwork, consistency, supportive, cooperative, professional. We're specialized professional educators. We should be exemplary of that fact. Okay, we're in a professional community. It is our responsibility to show these students what professionalism is. So always keep that in mind. I mean, we are preparing these students for whatever they do next. Whether it's college, work, trade, whatever. I think that is our mission here, is to prepare these kids. And obviously, we don't get into this for the money. You know, if you're like me, this is a calling. This is what you do. It is so much above and beyond just you. I mean, it is you giving yourself to prepare these kids for our future. And the future is scary. You don't have to look far. I mean, look to a political race to see how scary this future is. And I'm not trying to get into that, but you guys know what I'm saying. And so, please keep that in mind. And this needs to be professional, not just with the students. They need to be shown respect as well, but with each other. You know, if you guys aren't happy here, and that's going to create a negative experience for you, that can create a negative experience for your students. If you're not happy, you need to explore that. Come talk to me. I want this to be a positive experience for you and for these students as well. So please keep that in mind. I mean, I really want everyone to be happy here and successful in everything they do. And I know that's not going to happen 100% of the time. So have a bad day, you know, talk to me, we'll fix it, and we'll go on. But I think it's very important to have a very positive campus climate. And I think that summarizes all that one. Vehicles, we talked about that. And actually, I've just copied that link so you can find there as well. And I did email everyone this on the way, so that link is live there too. But now you guys have seen where to find that. And then the last thing, visitors report to the office, invite parents to visit during special occasions, but too frequent visits can be disruptive. And I know we've had a handful of times. You know, come talk to me and I can have those conversations. Are we doing the electronic door?
Eventually.
Eventually.
Yes.
So what I mean by that is that second set of double doors is going to have an electronic lock. So nobody, and you can be buzzed in. So those parents who just like to come in, eventually they'll have to stop and go and check in. We can get in with the key. And I believe it's going to be open during passing periods at that time. So the kids come in for bags, we'll have that as well. All right, any questions or anything?
Can I reword something I said earlier about ADA attendance? When I said it's just second period is all they're worried about. Yes, they are, but for the junior high and high school first and all the other ones other than second, it's still very important you post, because there are CAPE classes we get funding for. There's special ed students in classes that we get funding for. So please don't think, oh, I really don't have to do those other classes, because you really do. It determines exemptions, it determines extra funding for certain students. So please make sure you do that.
And if you don't, Shelley will remind you.
Yeah, it's getting bad, y'all. I walk down the hallway and a teacher sees me and turns and goes the other way. I forgot! I don't want to be known as that person. It's not even hello, it's
We see Shelley coming.
I know.
Or you can start apologizing.
I know. Oh, no.
I think Dr. Edison has something to say.
Just two quick things real quick. You kind of touched upon it. Next Thursday, we are going to have a safety training, and I may talk to you one more time before that, give you a little bit more of what's going on. But it's just going to be real honest with you. It's going to be some things you probably haven't seen. It may even affect you a little bit, but it goes back into that of trying to be ready for everything. If you watch the news one bit this summer, you know what's going on in the world and everything else. And it can be really scary. It can be real scary at times. And we're putting some things into place this year that's gonna address some of that, okay? And like I said, it's not gonna be some of your typical stuff that we've done in the past. It's gonna be a new format, and gentleman's gonna come in here, and it's gonna be a different, it's not gonna be us presenting, it's gonna be another gentleman presenting here. Like I said, it's gonna talk about some stuff that's happened before in the world and everything else. It could disturb you a little bit. So just kind of be prepared, but understand also we're doing this for everybody's safety, and just trying to, don't even want to get into a discussion what's happening in the world, but it just, it's not U.S. versus Soviet Union like it was in the 80s. It is much, much different, and there are some very sick people in this world. And so just trying to prepare for some stuff like that. Like as I said, I may talk to you one more time before that and give you just a little bit more information, but just be prepared for that. If you have any questions, please let us know on that. And one last thing, just so you'll know, our School Reach. For those of you who knew, we send out it's called a School Reach message every Sunday, and then as appropriate when the announcements are needed. School Reach got bought out. School Messenger is now the one doing it. And so our number systems have changed. And so we are going to have to experiment a little bit to make sure everybody's numbers are on there and everything else, because they're going through actually PINs and everything else to get numbers. Now, no, that doesn't include everybody. And so you may hear a message as soon as tonight or even tomorrow night. It just says, if you're hearing this message, you're on there. If not, or your husband, wife's not, tell them and we'll get you on there. Things kind of like that. So bear with us on that as we try to get that and make that available. Again, it was supposed to make it easier, but we're just a little, and talked to a lady on the phone. I was like, I want to add community members. Why do you want to do that? And I was like, we have a small community. People want to know. Well, it's going to call one parent. Well, sometimes two parents like to be called. So things like that. That they normally, I guess, the schools they work with don't have those type of problems. So we'll experiment with that, but be prepared. You'll hear some message and talk to each other, and let's find out if you're getting these messages or not. The one good thing, this does have the capability for text messaging now also. And so we'll kind of incorporate that once we get settled on who's getting calls and who's not getting calls and everything else. And so that's, just be prepared for that. So questions? All righty, thank you.
Hey, I do want to look at the rest of the agenda with you for this week. So tomorrow, we're back in here, and we're breaking up the United Streaming into 2 different groups. Then we're going to have lunch, and then you can watch your HR videos. If you're done with your HR videos, then whatever you need to do. So I hope you guys like that. We guys see you in the summer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Then Friday, we're working in the classroom. Monday, so College Board Professional Development. This is going to include Marcia, Karen, Mary Beth, Tasha. And that is at Hillsborough City Hall, Historic City Hall. Do you know where that is?
No.
Okay. Anybody going to be leaving from the school for that one? Well, you're in Hillsborough. Marcia, are you going to come get a vehicle that day? Okay. Well, can Mary Beth follow you or ride with you?
I can Google it.
So maybe you guys can make arrangements. She is going to be going over SAT, ACT. What is yours? TSI. All right. So for those students who are done with the OCs, okay, just a little bit more. If they're done with ELCs, doesn't mean they're not done with something other than their classroom work. We are preparing them for something else. A lot of these kids, how many times did you have people retake a TSI?
What?
That's scary. So that's saying that they're not prepared to enter college. Okay? So hopefully some of her training is going to help you. I don't know exactly what it is, but kind of give you some ideas for that. And I think that's a very big thing for me. We've got to make these kids college ready. Because if they're not college ready and they leave here, the chances of them dropping out go up. We don't want them to drop out. We want them to finish and do good things. All right, this is the afternoon. Scope and sequence will be continued, and I'll come back to that. 16th is working in classrooms. All right, 17th, we are back at Dave & Buster's, but we're not going to do that stuff that we have. We're just going to go play. Cool. So, we're going to play. I think we're going to get there at 11 and do that for an hour and a half. We'll kind of gauge that. And then we're going to drive to Waxahachie Chili's, and we're going to come back that night for open house. But I've tried to give you enough days to work in your classroom to kind of get that prepared. I've tried to be mindful of that. Thursday's the safety training. And on Wednesday, we're going to leave at 11, so I think it's what, like a little over an hour or so on the bus. We're going to take a bus with the AC, so somebody could drive the bus, that'd be great. But we're saving money on the charter, that way we did last time. But I'll try to have some kolaches up here for you guys. So if you get here, because we're going to eat a little bit later, so we'll have some breakfast up here.
We're leaving here at 11?
No, we're going to be there at 11. We'll leave at 9:30. And if you come before 9:30, I'll have kolaches and stuff. Then safety training on that Thursday. Okay, on that Thursday, we will have lunch provided. Maybe go to one. Okay. So over the summer, we had 1, 2, 3 big O's. Big O is a birthday that ends in a 0 and has a 5 or 6 in front of it. A 4, 5, or 6 in front. So we had 3, and we're going to celebrate that on that day. We're going to have Elcon cater. We're going to get a cake and stuff. It'll be the day that we're going to. So if you had a big O, we didn't forget about you. Just like. Oh, I didn't think you were being. Wow, you didn't get it.
Will there be alcohol provided?
It's a safety training day.
It's a safety training day, so. We are depressed. That's why we got you cake.
This Friday is T-test training. That one, I don't envision will go all day, so you'll have some time there. Monday is the day before the kids come. Insurance, come in here, register.
Probably be in the high school computer lab because I'm gonna have so many at one time.
Okay.
So we'll do it in the high school computer lab.
Then Debbie's going to go over the technology stuff, and that's going to include grade book, personal web pages. Okay, on the personal web pages, I don't necessarily care if you utilize the web system for your parent communication, which includes like major tests, which projects. You don't have to do that way, but you have to do something. What do we got? We got Remind, Google Classroom has a feature on it, and some people do the web pages. I don't care what you do, but it needs to be on your web page what you do. Like whether it's Remind, Classroom, or the web page. Does that make sense? So I don't know if we've talked about that, and maybe a little bit in the past, but they need to have something on there where they leave of what they're going to do, of how they're going to do it.
And I can send out a reminder, anybody for open house, especially elementary, if you want that stuff already on the web, and you forgot like how to upload your files or whatever, just let me know and I'll walk you through it.
Okay. Does that make sense? Any questions with that? I think it's very important. So I'm giving you flexibility to choose what you want to do. Stated what you want to do. Back on this Wednesday, we got the open house. We do have a pre-K roundup, which is going to be from Karen. That's going to be at 5:45. So.
So it should be a ranger check, since you're doing the whole
I'll
campus.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys the option. Scope and sequence, which is not gonna take me long. We can do it when we come back from lunch, or we can just do it now and.
Do it now.
Check. Yeah.
A little bit more, we want to show y'all how much we appreciate y'all. And last year, we sold all the old Chromebooks when we got the new Chromebooks. Well, we put that in what we call our executive activity account, which is how we buy lunches for y'all and the shirts and things like that. So this year, we have bought cell phone chargers that say Abbott Campers for each of y'all. So each of y'all will get one of these.
I'll have a charger. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you have to bring your own. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I might have to run in a bit. Thank
This is the first time I've ever.
I really want this.
All right, I promise this one is not gonna take long, and you will be on your way to lunch here shortly. Tasha, Mary Beth, and Dylan, I'll kind of spend more time with you guys. We've got to go in and find, I gotta enter you into the system. I gotta find that access. And then what? Casey. Yeah. Okay, so the scope and sequence. Here's the importance of scope and sequence, and if you were in my interview, you probably heard this, but unfortunately, I am the curriculum director. And I say unfortunately, not that it's a bad thing, but I'll be honest, it's something that I just don't have a lot of time to put into, just with the nature of the things that I do. So with that being said, I will give you time to kind of look at your scope and sequence. And what that is, a scope in sequence refers to the breadth and depth of a specific curriculum. The scope, comprehensive quality, how much you are going to teach of a subject over the course of a year. The sequence is the order. So the expectations. Identify all of your standards. Sequence all of your standards for the entire year in a 6-week format. All right, so this can be done by locating the standards here. And I just emailed this to you today. So you go to that link. Here are where your standards are located, okay? So there's elementary, middle school, high school. And it's going to break down each of these standards. So that is where you can locate them. Now you're looking at them. And then this other one. Okay, so look at the testing date for the EOCs or the STAR. So that is this year's assessment calendar provided by the state. All right. We have retesting going on that first week in December. I think that's one of the first things. Oh, well, we'll have the English 1 and English 2 retest in December as well. So those are that first group. There's not going to be a lot of students, but there are a few. And then these are the big ones. So March 28th, you got 4th, 7th writing, 5th, 8th math, and English 1. And then that next big group is that first week in May. And then you get all the elementary for the STAR test. So that's where you can find whether your specific test is the date for that test. All right. I have emailed you a spreadsheet. If you're using curriculum that provides an auto calendar, get with me and show me the layout for the year. And I think for the math and the science, pretty much all the way up, they have a calendar feature, and social studies as well, that lays it all out for you. So you just pick your endpoint, I believe.
Does it work though? We've tried this last year.
Yeah.
I remember it was having me teach 3 math lessons on one day and I finished by
You just gotta.
December.
Yeah, see, mine had to be done by December.
Then I was like, what am I gonna do?
I put my school year all the way
Tells you to
through.
teach 2 lessons, sometimes give you a week.
My curriculum ended in December.
No, and it's.
I could try.
Try it. We'll see. Hope it works. Get you logged in. And this is just ensuring that we get everything covered. If you're using a spreadsheet for your 6 weeks, if you're able to finish 2 weeks prior to that assessment, so we can look at reviewing and going through it. Some of you may finish even sooner. Now, the math and the science and social studies, I mean, you've got the curriculum. Mary Beth and Katie, it's kind of difficult for you because, you've got a textbook and you don't really have anything lined up. I think you've probably got your routine down now.
Do we have to enter it into that spreadsheet that you sent us, or like the ones we've used?
You can send me the one you used before, absolutely. If it's not gonna change, because I don't think any of the standards have changed this year. Everything will be the same, so you're pretty good. I'll work with you. Okay. I like that. Dylan, I'll get with you, and then Tasha. So, don't forget, you've got some time built in through these 2 weeks, and we'll look at that stuff as well.
We just send you, because I've already looked at mine, your books. So we just send you what the calendar says.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you did want to use the spreadsheets, they're right here. Just gonna lay them all out right here. First 6 weeks, second 6 weeks. This one has 6 sheets with multiple tabs at the bottom. So. Okay, any questions with the scope? All right, that's it for me. Thank you so much for your attentiveness, and come back tomorrow. We'll meet here for that first group, and I'll meet with you. So, United Streaming for Elementary, Payne, Rangel, and Debbie Little. We'll be in here. I'll bring in Chromebooks, and I don't know. I thought.
Is this the same you guys streaming we had been using?
Yes. I think. How many people use United Streaming? Yeah.
Don't tell nobody.
Oh, that's a little less than half. So they're gonna go into more features, and I mean, we haven't looked at United Streaming since I've been in here, so maybe she'll show us some things. And then that second group is from 10:30 to 12. We'll be in here as well.
It's more than just movies.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not even hungry.
Yeah, I did a lot of time.
I have to make.
Oh, I'm that way at home, so you're not
I don't have anything to do with school. And he ordered it. It looked great on paper. Hey, dear, thank you for being so good. That's what
It
English.
should be environmental. I need to throw my daughter away.
She had some medicine that was there. Brian Gal. I got you.
Thank you.
So when does Conway start?
He started.
Oh, did he?
But he's been going for much short.
Oh, he is, you decided to go ahead and cut? Oh, no.
Very
Okay, hard.
Eric, since I signed up to do football, do you want me to stretch one of them out?
I'm still short on those.
Yep.
And if you get
But, relax, sure. We moved over there about 6 years ago. We actually made the move primarily because the church we were in. I've got 5 children. 5 to 20. There were just some areas in our lives going on. And one of them in particular at that time was a men's ministry.